Hello and welcome to this second video on critical reasoning. In my first video, I discussed the concepts and strategy to solve critical reasoning questions. In this video, we'll learn how to reject the not so good options and how to choose the best answer. So let's solve a few questions and get started. Okay, so this is the strategy that I suggested in my last video, that it's important to understand what argument is made up of. So three components: the basis, rationale is one component, conclusion, the point that you're trying to make, and the assumption. And the process how we solve these questions is, we first try and understand the question stem, what we are supposed to do. Then we go to the argument, we understand the argument well. Then after understanding the argument well, we make an educated guess and then try to match it with the options and choose the best answer. So let's practice a few questions. So here's the first question on the screen. I would request folks to pause the video and you might want to attempt on your own before you see the solution. All right. So the question says, the 2001 census showed a sharp fall in the literacy rate compared to 1991, but an increase in the literacy rate by 2006 suggests that between 1991 to 2006, India progressed in terms of literacy rate. Okay, so we have the India literacy data. And he's saying that from 1991, there's a sharp fall. Okay. So this is the sharp fall in the literacy rate. Okay. And then he says, but an increase in literacy rate by 2006. Okay. But an increase in 2006, there's an increase, which suggests that between 1991 and 2006, India progressed. But he's saying this increase suggests that there has been a progress from here to here. So the question is, which of the following statements, if true, best refutes the above argument? So we have to refute the above argument. We have to weaken the above argument. We have to somehow show that this is not true, that India did not progress between 1991 to 2006. So when can that happen? That could happen either when the data is not valid or when this decrease is not as much as the increase here, right? So any argument which refutes that, which denies that, should be somewhat our answer, right? So we are thinking of an answer before going to the options. Okay, let's look at the options. One of the causes of more literacy is the increased population growth rate. So he's saying causes of more literacy. That means he's saying that there is more literacy and the cause is this, but are we interested in the cause? No. And we have to refute, not support the argument. Second says, although there was no census in 2006, the information about the literacy rate is reliable. So that means whatever he's saying is correct, but we have to refute it. So this argument is not in line with what we want. Then many of those who were illiterate in 2001 became literate in 2006. Again, it's saying many became literate from 2001 to 2006. This is actually supporting our data, what the author was trying to say. But we have to find something which is not in line with this. The rate of fall in literacy rate between 1991 and 2001 was more than the rate of rise in literacy between 2001 to 2006. He's saying this rate of fall. So if this is whatever X percentage, this was more than the rate of rise. If that is the case, then obviously there will be overall, there will be loss only. That means literacy rate would fall. So let's say if this was 50% decline and this increased by 40%, that means in 2006 would obviously be less than what it was in 1991, and which will refute the argument. So I think this could be our answer, but let's look at the last option also. The rise in literacy rate between 2001 and 2006 was due to, again, he's saying the rise is because of this reason, but we are not interested in the reason. We have to refute that there is not enough rise. So I think the only option is option D. Let's move to the second question. Okay, so we have to strengthen the speaker's argument. Let's understand his argument. According to recent reports, CEOs of large organizations are paid more than CEOs of smaller organizations. It does not seem fair. Okay, it doesn't seem fair that just because a CEO is heading a big organization, she is paid more. CEO's salary should be related to performance. Okay, that's the point he's trying to make. Should be related to performance, especially growth in terms of sales and profits. Okay. Of course, big organizations are more complex than the small, but all CEOs require significant amount of energy and time, okay, in managing organizations. There is no proof that CEOs of big organizations are more stressed than CEOs of small organizations. Okay. So the point that the author is trying to make is all CEOs should be based according to their performance. It should not be that the CEOs of larger organizations are paid more. Okay. So we have to strengthen author's argument, something which can prove that the CEOs of smaller organizations should also be paid well. Something in line with that would help us strengthen the speaker's argument. Okay, so let's look at the options. CEOs in big organizations take much longer to reach top as compared to their counterparts in smaller organizations. So again, he's comparing, saying that for CEOs in big organizations, it's more difficult for them and therefore they're better. It's better that they are paid more. But this is not what we are looking for, right? We are looking for something which will strengthen. And author's argument is that CEOs of smaller organizations also should be paid well and not just big organizations. And this was actually not in line with the author's argument. We have to strengthen. Always remember the task at hand. We have to strengthen. We have to support what the author is trying to say. Then the second one, CEOs of big organizations are very difficult to hire. Again, this is weakening author's argument because he's saying because the CEOs of big organization, the demand supply imbalance, they're difficult to hire and therefore you might probably pay more to CEOs of bigger organizations because difficult to hire, but not in line with what we want. A few big family businesses have CEOs from within the family. Now again, not important whether the few big family businesses, right? This is sort of out of scope, right? Next, big organizations contribute more towards moral development. So he's saying big organizations, because they contribute more towards moral development, therefore it's okay to pay them more. But again, this is against the grain of the passage, right? That's not the author's argument. Last, CEOs of small organizations come from good educational background. Okay. Now this is somewhat in support of the CEOs of small organizations, but not a very solid, strengthener. But then ultimately it's supporting them. So because this is the only option which is sort of in line with what author is trying to say, we'll have to pick this option. And therefore this reject to select approach really works because it's not about the right answer, it's about the best answer. Of the options given, all these four were against the grain of the passage, against what the author is trying to say. There's the only option which sort of supports him, so therefore I think we'll go with this option. Okay, third question, which of the following if true would most weaken the author's contention? Okay, let's see his contention. French cuisine is highly regarded all over the world. Okay, yet in Paris there are more American restaurants selling burgers and fries than there are in any other European capital city. Obviously the French are very fond of junk food and are not too proud to eat it. Okay, so he's saying French cuisine is highly regarded all over the world, but in Paris you can see a lot of American restaurants which sell junk food, and from here he's assuming that French people are very fond of junk food to weaken the author's contention. So somewhere if you can prove that hey, French are not fond of junk food, we should be able to get to our answer, right? Either we can say that hey, this data is incorrect, right? Or something to that effect. So the first option says there are also a large number of Lebanese restaurants in Paris than there are in any European capital cities. So he's saying because there are a lot of Lebanese restaurants in Paris. So, but from here you can also say that they like Lebanese also, but you cannot say that they don't like junk food, right? So therefore this does not weaken author's argument. French cuisine, French cordon bleu cuisine is very expensive. French cuisine is very expensive, but again this does not say that the author said they are very fond of junk food. It never said that because it's expensive and they can't afford, therefore, right? So that's the author is trying to say, but you're saying it's very expensive, therefore they don't have an option. But we cannot really say from here that they're not fond of junk food, right? Or fond of junk food. So let's keep a question mark and then move ahead. There are unusually large number of American tourists in Paris who eat at burger joints. Oh, that's a solid one. He's saying there's a large number of American tourists in Paris who eat at burger joints. So maybe he was saying because there are so many American restaurants selling junk food in Paris, from here he was saying that therefore because of this he's assuming that assumption is that the French also eat at these restaurants, and that's why there are so many restaurants. But he's saying that large number of American tourists, and they are the ones, if they're the ones eating, maybe there are very few French people. So French people are actually not very fond of junk food. From this we can assume, right? So this is a solid one. But okay, so let's look at this option. Keep that in mind. The number of French tourists eating in New York burger restaurants is very low. Okay, not really. Junk food actually has high nutritional value when eaten in moderation. Again, it nowhere shows the French people. It's a general statement, so not really in scope, right? Okay, so the best answer I think would be this, because the author said because we see so many American restaurants selling junk food in Paris, from here he was assuming that therefore French are very fond of junk food. But he's saying a lot of American tourists are there and they're the ones who eat at this burger joint. So maybe that's why there are so many. So the supply is because of the demand from the Americans who travel, not really from the French people there. Okay, let's move to the next question and the last question. Well, the following is an assumption necessary to the author's argument. Okay, so what's the assumption he's making? Let's see. Unlike other retail outlets where items are purchased in any number of units the customer wants, in supermarket items are grouped in bulk packages. Okay, so in supermarket you have these bulk packages. This bulk buying offers savings to the customer, and he's saying the option to buy at wholesale prices by buying in bulk makes supermarkets a practical choice for budget conscious consumers. Okay, so our author's argument is because at supermarkets you have this bulk package which offers savings, therefore it's a practical choice for our consumers, right? So which of the following is an assumption? Something which can show the linking between this and say, hey, this is important to them and therefore, right, would be an answer. So let's look at the options. Supermarkets often have greater buying power and lower overhead costs, so they can offer a greater variety of products than regular retail outlets. Okay, he's saying that because supermarkets have a greater variety of products, right? It's mostly like that, and it is from the standpoint of supermarkets. But he's saying because they offer greater choice, but that's not what the author said. The author was saying because of the bulk buying and savings. So this is not what the author was saying. Supermarkets are often more conveniently located and have better parking facilities. This one's talking about convenience and parking facilities, which will go against what the author is saying. So not really. The emergence of supermarkets has caused many small retail stores to close down and thus eliminate competition. Again, this is out of scope. It is economically wise to buy single items since bulk packages seldom offer significant savings. This is going, it's weakening his argument, right? Because he's saying it's better to buy single items because they don't offer savings. They're going against the passage. Last, the financial savings from purchasing bulk packages may outweigh the inconvenience of being unable to purchase in any number of units that suits the customer needs. So again, this is bringing to the same point, saying that the financial savings from these bulk packages outweighs all the other inconvenience, and therefore they buy this. Therefore it's a practical choice. I think this is the best answer. So I hope you like this video. I hope you understood how to solve critical reasoning questions and how to reject the not so good options. So thanks for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.